Texas Tech focused not only on a playoff game this weekend, but also a front runner for a big time transfer quarterback.
Front runner. They're the only runner, TJ, and they're somehow in this mix before he even entered the transfer portal. And now that he officially is in the transfer portal, it's over. It's wraps. It's done. Calling it right now. Drake C-Toll, you can accredit it to me. Brendan Sorsby is going to transfer to Texas Tech and be the new starting quarterback for the Red Raiders. And in essence, all that has to be done from here is we sign the dotted line. So officially, the transfer portal doesn't open for another couple weeks. That's the only big hang-up we have on something like this is a lot can happen in a couple weeks. But if we were able to do this deal today, it would be done. This is funny. I'm going to read this from Barstool Cincinnati, who is not the source that I'm using. Let me be very clear here. Not the source that I'm using. But I thought this was a very funny tweet. As expected, Texas Tech is considered the front runner for Brendan Sorsby. And here comes the gut punch. Sorsby's girlfriend, who played volleyball here at UC, just transferred to Texas Tech. So we've got people in Airbnbs that have found Brendan Sorsby's name logged into his YouTube account when they came back to Airbnb. We have his girlfriend now transferring to Texas Tech. He has commented on his girlfriend's post with like best decision for you, best move, great move. The James Blanchard, who directs recruiting for Texas Tech, is their quasi general manager who runs the whole show over there for Joey McGuire off the field, is a genius, one of the most effective men in all of college football behind the scenes. He is commenting actively on Brendan Sorsby's posts. And look, where there's smoke, there is certainly fire. You have one of the best quarterbacks in the Big 12 this last season for the first 8-9 games at the very least, who is going to be a hot commodity in the transfer portal, and Texas Tech has a whole lot of money. Scott Satterfield, the head coach at Cincinnati, he cannot afford Brendan Sorsby. And I don't think Cincinnati's a playoff team next season either. This is Sorsby's shot at winning a national championship, and I'm not... I can't blame him at all for making this decision, and I think this decision is all but wrapped up, TJ. There's not much else to work out here. Brendan Sorsby's girlfriend's gone. He's in the transfer portal. Texas Tech has the money. It's not like she's going to Missouri State. We don't have to really poke around to figure out how he's going to get to Missouri State. No, Texas Tech's the landing spot.
The status of college football where, plane tracking is not new.
Yeah.
That's not new. Right. Again, we'll talk about the actual things that matter. But
planes have existed for forever. We've got a lot of planes. Yeah.
Okay, I was in an Airbnb not too long ago, and you know how annoying it is to have to go to every single TV? Because I'm a little anal about this, and you know how it used to just be you turn cable on and you were good. Well, now we have 17 different apps to stream, and that's another video for another time. And these Airbnbs are huge, and there's TVs everywhere, and the kids want to watch this on this program. My father-in-law wants to watch this on this TV. So I had to log out of about 6 apps on about 4 different TVs. It was a 30-minute process. So I truly believe that because it's annoying. And let me tell you something. I'm not questioning his decision making. If I'm 20 years old, I'm 22, whatever, and I'm probably using someone else's Netflix or whatever anyway, YouTube, I'm not logging out of that. And so just the state that we're in college football and tracking, again, we've gone from planes are boring now. Planes go out of everywhere. Plane tracking is the dumbest thing. It always has been, but it is the dumbest thing. Like there's a flight leaving Gainesville, Florida today going somewhere that is another college town.
That Nick Saban lives, going wherever Nick Saban lives.
Well, it's just completely irrelevant. There's a plane going from Missoula, Montana to Gainesville. And if they weren't in a coaching search right now, or if they were in a coaching search right now and they hadn't already hired Summerall, there would be people, oh my gosh, are we pulling the guy from university? Like that's what you would be doing, right? The guy from Bozeman's coming here. But anyway, plane tracking's always been dumb. The tracking that we do now with this is hilarious. Talk to me about just the impact. Like there's a lot of big name quarterbacks here, some that have flopped, some that have underperformed. Rayola's out there, Lagway. We'll talk about him in a future video, but just the impact that this really has on Texas Tech.
It's a good move, and I'm going to agree with you that plane tracking is old. Girlfriend tracking, YouTube login tracking is new and all the rage here. Brendan Sorsby is a great quarterback. 6'3", 235-pound kid out of Denton, Texas. So he's coming back home to Texas. Now, I want to be very clear here, and I've said this the last few years. It's a lot tougher to recruit in Lubbock than it is, and this has nothing to do with actually Lubbock. I think it's a great town. Has a lot more to do with geographically where it's located, because Denton, the whole Dallas area is still 5.5 hours away from Lubbock, and it's a lot easier to recruit to SMU or TCU if you're looking for kids to stay home. Proverbially, Texas is another place where you're like, hey, we're close enough to Austin, close enough to Dallas. Lubbock is a completely different side of Texas. Like, you can get to, TJ, from El Paso, Texas to LA faster than you can get from El Paso to Corpus Christi. So that says a lot about the size of the state of Texas. Lubbock's kind of on its own island out there. So he's not necessarily going home, but he's back in his home state. He's got an opportunity, 2,800-yard passer, 27 touchdowns, top 10 in the country. He had 81.4 QBR, top 10 in the country, and now walks into a system at Texas Tech where he doesn't have to be a superstar. Morton started, if you remember, at Indiana before Curt Cincinnati got there. Transferred to Cincinnati, did a really good job over the course of his 2 years as the starting quarterback there. Had 2,800 yards in both of his seasons. I thought he grew up a lot this year. He only took 7 sacks. He's going to have a great offensive line. He'll have incredible offensive weapons. His completion percentage is still a bit of an issue to monitor, but we're talking about a guy who's thrown 60 touchdown passes in college football in his career. I'd take that 10 times out of 10. I think Joey McGuire takes that. He also rushed for 580 yards and 9 touchdowns this year on 100 carries. That's even more impressive when you remember that your sack yardage is also counted in your rushing yardage. So those numbers mean that he's actually gained far more of those yards for UC this year. I love the move for Texas Tech. I think he's better than Behren Morton. I've never been a huge Behren Morton believer. I don't think if Tech wins the national championship, it will be because Behren Morton's an elite quarterback. It'll be the pieces around him. I think Sorsby doesn't need to be elite, but he can be, and he'll elevate Texas Tech.
It probably starts to signal now, T's need to be crossed and I's need to be dotted. It probably starts to signal that Texas Tech is not satisfied with this 1 year. No matter what happens, they could win their next 3 games, or they could lose the first round to Oregon, or first game to Oregon, and they're not satisfied with this year, which I think is a good signal for Texas Tech fans. This isn't like a flash in the pan. They're going to go out and make elite moves at not only the quarterback position, but the rest of the roster if needed when this thing really does open up in 20 days, 19 days, something like that.
Can I defend you here?
A lot of people want to go the other way. So, yeah, I'll use all I can right there.
Because some people be like, well, everybody wants to take it seriously. And, of course, they're going to take it seriously. Everybody wants to win. Washington, they went to the national championship game a couple years ago. And they're like, you know what? We're good. we're all right. We'll hire Jed Fish, I guess. Kalen DeBoer's gone. Like, you don't see the investment at Washington like you're seeing at Texas Tech right now. Yeah. Right? There are schools that get to the pinnacle, and then once they're there, they're like, wow, that was really fun. TCU. Wow, that was really fun. Hope it happens again someday. I agree with you, and I think it's not a silly take that Texas Tech wants to feel this again every single year.
Yeah. We will talk next week about the playoff matchup, we assume, against Oregon. It'd be crazy if something wild happened there, but make sure you are subscribed to both College Football Addiction and Locked On Big 12 so that you don't miss that. Drake, thanks for talking about Texas Tech making moves on the off week.
Guns up, baby.